My number one is Tar.
The
Um,
Tar. Yeah.
the Tar. Where do you even begin? To me, I think this is the movie, if I'm really thinking about it, the movie of our times and the
Hmm.
times that we live in, the complications of art, what's right, what's not right, the image we project, what does society think of it, and the mess and the trappings of all of that we find ourselves trapped in right now, where people don't even know what to really say. What is the truth? How far do you go? All of that is packed in here, but it's done in a way that is not preachy. It's not laid out for you. It's
Hmm.
not tied in a bow. It's a complicated, brilliantly crafted piece of work that you can take it at surface value and just enjoy the technicalities of it. You
Hmm.
can just enjoy arguably one of the greatest performances put on screen in the last many, many decades.
Yes.
Or you can wrestle with everything that this movie has on its mind and catch yourself on different sides of the argument on any given day. Um, all the three movies that I talked about are movies that have made me think and feel about something about myself, about my life as time has gone by. But I think this one takes the cake in that
Hmm.
area because it's in a way almost provided me a framework of looking at the times that we are in, honestly. Um, and to top all of that, it's done so brilliantly and when I say that, I mean that it's not a simply done movie. Like it's such a rich text on in the scope of a movie,
Hmm.
in the sense that it's like an epic film. Like to me, this is as much an epic movie as a blockbuster movie because of its scope. That's the
Yes.
word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's like a big scope movie. It's not just a movie that just happens in a single location with people expressing ideas and thoughts. That is there, but it's a big scale, big canvas movie. So I'll pause there and see, what did you think of Lydia Tarr?
Yeah, I loved this film as well. I mean, this would be my number four if we were going with four for sure. And I think this is the
Mhm.
film that will stand the test of time, I think, from 2022 more so than any. Like this film will still be studied and talked
Mhm.
about and experienced for the next like 50 to 100 years if humans are still around that long.
Mhm.
Yeah, this I think you're right in that there's a lot. The movie has a lot going on, but in a way it's almost like simple in terms of its execution, though you know
Yeah.
how it looks so effortless, but you recognize, and then Kubrick was a lot like this too, and Todd Field was like a
Yeah.
student of his, where it feels so effortless, but you know that every decision was like litigated for hours in the director's mind, and
Purposeful.
every little tiny thing is purposeful, but it comes across as something like super simple, like just a shot that's set up. You're like, oh, that's kind of an interesting shot. But then you think, oh, wait a second, like every single thing in this shot was designed down to a T, and including the
Mm.
performances and everything that especially Kate Blanchett is doing in this movie. You can tell there was a lot of trust between her and Todd Field in terms of how to execute something like this. But yeah, this movie is one of the most complicated movies in a good way that I've like ever seen. Because there's a very surface level story that's super entertaining, but you can think about this movie as I did after I saw this just for weeks because there's so
Yep.
much going
I
on,
still
and,
think
and
about it.
me too. There's so much going on in this movie. It is incredible, and then it's enjoyable. It doesn't feel like it
Yeah.
was 3+ hours or no, close to 3 hours, and it
Yeah.
it it flew by. Like I didn't feel like it was long. I wanted more of Tar and to be in this world, even though it was yeah, baffling at times. It's a work of art. I'll say that it's definitely a work of cinematic art, more so than anything that was nominated at the Oscars
Yeah.
this this past
Yeah.
Sunday.
And to your point, entertaining, because
Yes.
often
Oh my
a
God.
movie
So
like this can
funny.
be, and very funny. Oh
So
gosh,
funny. I mean, there's
the
there.
whole apartment showing scene when
Oh yeah.
she's like this. Yeah,
And the
it's a very
salad, like
funny
the
movie.
cucumber salad piece.
You come.
There's been some, talk around in the analysis of Kubrick, who's my favorite director, that some people kind of view him, most of his movies, as comedies on some level. Yes, there's
Mhm.
Strangelove, which is an out and out comedy, but a lot of his
Mhm.
other movies, you can, like Barry Lyndon or Clockwork Orange. Even The Shining can be read in a comedic level in some way. And I think that Todd Field, as a student of Kubrick, is a lot of the same thing. Like this movie could be a laugh out loud comedy throughout the whole thing, or you could read it as like deadly serious, or it's like so many different angles to it, and that's what makes it entertaining to me.
Totally.
It's an experience. Like it's hard to describe really what this movie is. You kind of have to see it. In the same way RRR, actually, I would say it's hard to kind of explain to someone kind of what this movie is. You kind of just have to just press play and go on this 3-hour journey. And I think Tar is I mean, I didn't know what the movie was really about before I started watching it. Like I thought, oh, a conductor, like maybe fall from grace, something. I had no idea all the things that it would deal with. It's a fantastic film, just incredible on every level.
Yeah. And to the detail orientedness, which I think we've touched on, is that I know this is not a hot take, but a lot of people thought that Leotard exists in the real world.
Right.
Because it's just so, to your point, like every single thing on there is so purposeful, and it's almost like talk about not just writing a screenplay, but truly creating this world and these people from thin air.
Yes.
That probably Todd Field knows, like, what does she eat every morning? What is, the scent of her perfume is. He probably knows everything about Lydia Tarr, and so does probably Kate, and so does everybody else. Again, a great ensemble.
Yes.
Once again, a movie like this can just be a one-person show, but it's not. Whatever Nina Haas is doing, if she doesn't do that, this movie actually doesn't work, because it has a whole other dimension to who actually puts these people on the top and who maintains them there. And how does this unit between the two of them, wield power the way they do? Oh gosh, I mean, there's just, this movie has so much on its mind. We couldn't even unpack it here.
It's definitely special, and I think the Fabelmans and this movie have two of the best like ending shots in the film I saw last year, and I don't know which one I like more. In a way, the Lydia of Tar or the Tarmu one was, I think, more shocking to me. In terms of the ending. But Fabelman's just is so incredible, that final shot when he adjusts the horizon line. I love the Tar all the way down to the final scene. You're like, holy crap! Like my mind is getting blown. Like as just how it ends, it's something else.
This movie reminds me of Kramer versus Kramer, All the President's Men. Rich text dramas that were movies of their time, representing and saying something that was, larger than life in the cultures of that time, but they've also stood the test of time, and they've been studied and marveled at. It's so great to get a movie like that, because I'm at least complaining and moaning about the fact that we don't get movies like that. And I think we got that in Tar, and so are my other two picks, maybe to not at the same level as Tar is, but so I feel pretty good about that.
Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.